Hey, what's going on, guys? It is a Three Musketeer Brothers show here with Big E and Gabe. We have Plotty in Europe. I believe he is in Greece currently, and J Matt is out with a little dental sore. But you got three brothers here to talk some sports. And boys, how we doing tonight?
We're good.
What's going on?
We got two men in the box, and we're here for the penalty kill this evening.
Bam, bam, here we go.
Five on
All
three
right.
here. Let's go.
I know, right? Team on three. One, two. Anyway, so let's just jump right into it. Let's jump into the Celtics. Biggie, I'll let you kind of take it away. And then we'll
Yeah,
kind of just go jump from there.
yeah.
What's going
I
on?
think let's catch up a little bit since where we left off. Where we left off, we had some hope for the Celtics. They were in a 2-1 series where the Knicks were leading 2-1, and then Game Four happened. Game Four. Plotty put a little bit of a video out. There was a catastrophic Tatum injury, which I do want to point out. Tatum was having a pretty fucking great game before his Achilles did end up tearing. With
40.
that being said, they were still down nine at that point, and Tatum's injury is not the reason that they lost that game. The Celtics, just they didn't have it, and I want to say also shout out to Jaylen Brown playing through a torn meniscus, which we learned after the season, having an incredible game five, and just a general great team effort by that Celtics squad for the guys who were still left and healthy, to contribute to a great game five they had against the Knicks, which they won, and then they folded in game six like we kind of all expected that they were going to do once the Tatum injury ended up happening. So, to your Knicks fans, congratulations. You guys advanced to the conference finals. You guys celebrated like you won the finals, which, maybe it's just me, but around here in Boston, we actually measure ourselves with championships and not
Job's
by
done,
Eastern
baby.
Conference Finals berths. So, again, congratulations and best of luck against the Pacers because I think you guys are going to need it because you guys are already in a 2-1 hole and I don't know if in last game the Knicks won it. Cat played amazingly down the stretch. I don't want to take anything away from him, more so than I think the Indiana choked it away. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to say the series is over because I don't think anything is over until you get four wins. But if I'm a betting person, which I do love betting on sports, I'm betting on Indiana to take the series. So that's a little bit on the landscape of the East. Just kind of what happened with the Celtics, and then um, what's been going on in the Eastern Conference Finals. Little Western Conference update. OKC is putting an absolute shellacking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're locking down Anthony Edwards. They did get their asses handed to them in Game 3 in Minnesota, which I think all of us here are probably shocked by the margin of that victory and the fact that that happened in Game 3. But I think,
One game.
yeah, it's one game, and just like the Knicks won one game, I think this is shaping up to be a Knicks and not a Knicks, a Pacers and OKC final, and you know, while I think the Pacers are a great team, I think you probably got to give the edge to OKC. They've been the best team in the league all year, and they look absolutely dominant on both sides of the ball. They look honestly a little bit shades of the Celtics of last year, with their own little twist on it, of course. But just great offense, great defense. I don't think they can be beaten. But let's bring it back to the Celtics. I think obviously there's a devastating Tatum injury, and that has huge ramifications long term, not just for this next season, but for where they go in the future. I still think he's a cornerstone player. You guys can talk a little bit more about the medical stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then I want to go into more of the offseason things that are ahead for the Celtics. So
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Tatum's injury, can you guys talk a little bit about like the I've heard a few things, and I want to get your guys' take on it that like where he was location wise was one of the best places to be to have the surgery that he had, and that the certain duration of time between the injury to surgery it leads statistically to usually a better outcome healing wise. Can you guys talk a little bit about that and just anything that you guys thought was interesting that we the public should know about Tatum's recovery ahead?
So,
Um,
Gabe, you
go,
can say you can
go for
correct
it.
me if I'm wrong, but I did some digging on the whole uh procedure. It's called, I believe it was a speed bridge.
Yep.
And typically what this surgeon would do is he would, on people that it hasn't ruptured, he would, and like this is for like older people, um, he would remove the Achilles from the heel bone and he would kind of shave everything down. And then he puts four holes. He drills holes and connects these holes in the actual heel itself. And then takes the tendon and puts it back in front of those holes. And he actually puts like a specialized material, like threading through it, to actually anchor that Achilles down a little bit harder. Now, this is for older people that have issues with their feet. This isn't an injured um, uh, NBA face that tore his Achilles. So I can't really speak like on the injury side. Gabe could probably speak a little bit more, but I'm assuming they did the same exact thing that they did with the speed bridge process, but just to Jason.
Yeah, I think this speed, well, Tatum went to a doctor. I mean, he had the surgery pretty much next day. Went to a doctor that specialized in this speed bridge procedure. It's not like confirmed that that's what he got, but if you're going to a guy who specializes in that, you would think that he would get that speed bridge procedure. Basically, what it kind of quickens the rehab process for Tatum. He'll be able to bear weight on the ankle and Achilles a lot quicker than if they just did a normal procedure to fix the ruptured tendon. So that's positive news if that's true. I would, we obviously don't want to rush Jason Tatum back. Into playing and possibly re-injuring the tendon, but very positive news that he's young, he's very obviously super athletic.
The fact
So
that I was gonna say the fact
yeah,
that Kevin Durant had, this injury as a wing player and was able to come back in more recent history is something that I think is something that gives you a little bit of a hope as a Celtics fan, just for
Kobe,
what Tatum can come back as. Well, and even Kobe didn't come back as the same player. He was still really good,
he
but
was
Kobe was
30.
also he was also in the wrong. No, he wasn't even just 30. I think he
Oh,
was
he
like
was mid 30s. I'm
I think he
sorry.
was
Yeah.
like 34 or 36. He was on the
Yeah,
older
mid
side.
30s.
So, Tatum is significantly younger, and
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, and this is what I hope as a Celtics fan, that this will be something that will just be part of his story. I don't think it's going to be the thing that we remember his Celtics legacy all about. So, he got his first one, and now it's all about getting back into tip-top shape, which I think all of us agree here, no rushing him back. If he doesn't come back and play next season, then it is what it is. But a dude who probably is going to play at some point next year, whether he plays the entire year or not, and candidly, a guy who is going to be brought up in trade conversations just due to the size of his contract. But I want to stick with the medical side of things here with you guys. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, we learned, was playing through a partially torn meniscus. And he was still playing really, really well. But there were times throughout the season, especially towards the end and in the Orlando series. And I don't know if you guys recall, but Tatum had the wrist injury, and I think it was game two or game three against Orlando, and Tatum went and I'm Tatum. Brown went and balled out, but the next game he kind of just didn't look like he had the same, umph. And Tatum was out that game. That was the game we lost, game three. So I think it was, or no, it was game four. That was game four. Either way, neither here nor there. It kind of explains a little bit about what was happening, where it looked like he was kind of having these great games, but just couldn't follow it up. He recently said that surgery is not off the table. Knowing everything that I just kind of alluded to with Brown, knowing that he's either going to be the guy who carries the load next year, which I think is the most likely option. I think we all hope for. But as I talked about, he could be in trade talks. What do you think is the right path forward for him and for the team? And do you think they're aligned to be 100% the same?
Gabe, I don't know about
I
you,
think
but I think surgery is probably the best option just with the advances that they have now. I mean, if it's partially torn now, I mean, I
yeah.
don't know what else is out there. You know a little bit more about
I
me.
think I'm sure JB definitely got some injections in his knee to help him along in the playoff series. Maybe a platelet PRP injection kind of helps regenerate the cartilage in your knee a bit. but the amount that he was playing, it kind of goes against those injections. Um, Surgery's iffy with the meniscus. When you do a meniscectomy, the menisci, they create a cushion in your knee, and when you're starting to remove those cushions in between your knee joint or your tibia and femur, um, you're taking out cartilage, and that's he's more likely to, I mean, it will repair him now, but it might shorten his career in the future. So it's definitely a possibility to get surgery. I understand why he would feel that way, but I'm sure he would prefer to go a more natural route, to try to have the tear kind of heal on its own. Yeah, I mean, menisci are they're tough. They're tough to deal with. I think Eric and I were talking about Rob Williams and how his knee,
Mhm.
he tore his meniscus and they kept going in and doing surgeries, and now it's like I don't even know. He might just be bone on bone at this point and just playing through that, and his career is certainly going to be shortened. So, in that sense, you kind of worry a little bit about the surgery, but again, JB is a freak athlete. He could probably recover and be just the same after that. But the trade talks are definitely heating up. I
Yeah.
mean, JB again is in the trade talks. I doubt the Celtics move JB in the offseason. It sounds like they want to stick with JB and D White, and kind of move on from some smaller pieces. Not in the, I mean, Drew Holiday and KP obviously had a great impact on our championship run the last year, but it's they cost a lot of money and we're up against that tax threshold. So I could see the Celtics moving on from those people or those players, but sticking more with JB and D White.
Right
Yeah.
before I hopped on, I saw a trade. I saw something from what's it called? NBC Sports, and Chris Forsberg was talking about trade that would work kind of for everybody, and that's sending Drew Holiday over to Dallas for Daniel Gafford and a bunch of picks going to, I believe it was Brooklyn, and they would kind of eat up the majority of his contract.
And PJ Washington too going
Yeah,
to the Nets.
to the Nets. So I mean, I mean that I don't know. I got a grin on my face because that's the kind of the piece that we're missing right there is that down that guy that's kind of down in the post. KP, as much as I loved him and he was able to spread the floor like he was, uh, to have a guy like Daniel Gafford, I think join the Celtics would really open up more room for what we want to see as opposed to the three ball. It would allow for Tatum and Brown to really attack the rim more just because there's a guy there. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. That's my thought. I
Yeah,
think that's a great idea.
I have a few thoughts. I actually think that trade is an interesting one. I think Drew's going to be more sought after than I think some of the reports are giving him credit for. And I think
Definitely.
him going
Yeah.
to Dallas makes a lot of sense. And I think there's, you know, I saw someone, I think it was Chris Forsberg talking about this, but like give me Brad Stevens versus Nico Harrison any day. Like, come on, like that's one of the biggest mismatches in the NBA. So
Yeah.
like, I have full faith
Maybe
in
we can
Brad
get that pick out of him.
to do what he's got to do to find the right avenue for this team. And I think they're not gonna tank next year. I don't think they have too much talent to tank, even if they trade off a number of pieces. And I don't think they're going to be contenders, but it all depends. Like maybe they find the right mix of players and they get rid of some of the players in the core here, bring in some new youthful players and some of the players that they developed up in Maine. Want to shout out to Luke Cornett, who had his Bill Russell game in Game 5. He was a homegrown, not homegrown, but he was a player that they really worked and developed, and he's really kind of turned into something and probably will be gone, but some of the guys who I think are going to be gone, I actually think KP is actually going to stick. And I'll tell you guys why. I think his trade value is as low as it can possibly go right now. And if they get rid of him, they're not going to get a fair return. This dude needs to just get healthy because whatever he had, whether it was post-COVID illness, mono, a viral infection, just like I think some time off will do him good. And when he comes back next year, if you're not in contention and you feel like, hey, the right move is to move him, you're going to get more value for him at the trade deadline than you are right now. So that's my one thing that I really stick by. But also think Drew's gone and I think Sam Hauser's gone. I think those are the two guys who I think are easily gone this offseason. I would not trade Jaylen Brown or Derek White because I think those are guys are core pieces with Tatum
Hmm.
that you can add other pieces around. If you look at, I heard someone trying to talk about like trading Derek White to Golden State. Like, why would we do that? What's the benefit for us to do that? Like, there is none.
Yeah.
Like, that's a funny idea for no reason. So I think, again, Brad's got a lot of decisions to make, but I think Brad has been one of the best GMs in the game of basketball since he stepped in, and he's certainly the best general manager
Knock on
in
my wood.
Boston right now. So, and Brad, we trust, and we're going to keep it rolling until we kind of know a little bit more after this next year with Tatum, and this actually could end up being something that may not be the worst thing in the world for the Celtics because they do have this is going to lead to a little bit of a youth movement, whether it's players that we've already drafted and we're trying to develop right now, like a Baylor Shireman, a Jordan Walsh, a JD
JD
Davidson,
Davidson.
G League MVP JD Davidson. Want to give him his props. But like, there's a great opportunity here for some of these players to step up, and Peyton
Exactly.
Pritchard's gonna move into the starting
He,
lineup, and
I was just
someone,
about to say with Peyton Pritchard again,
yeah.
potentially maybe getting into the starting lineup, that means JD Davidson's going to be one of your first guys coming off the bench. I mean,
and
it's
and
so,
and
I
he's a
love it.
tenacious defender. So like, and they can still add talent through the draft, and whoever, like, when they trade Drew and Sam Hauser and whoever else they may move, they're gonna get talent back. So it's not like they're going to just move these players and they gotta replace them with someone off the street. They are gonna get NBA players, and Brad Stevens is gonna work his magic to find someone undervalued. I don't know if you guys recall, but Derek White, when he came here, was not this heralded player that he is now. Danny got him for trading Romeo Langford and a few other like spare parts to get this guy, and he did attach some first round picks, so I will give him that. But like, Derek White, who was he before he came here? Like, Derek White is now a star, so I trust in Brad Stevens to do the right moves.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to the front office and the coaching staff. So
You know who I
Yeah,
don't trust right now?
I was just about to say that it's a great segue for us about, a team that is not only frustrating, but there's probably starving children all over Boston as we speak right now because no one's eating at the nines lately.
not for
The
Oh,
free at least.
Sox.
yeah,
Yeah,
kids
not
don't
for
eat free
free.
right
The
now.
Sox. I mean,
They
they're
suck and they blow.
teetering. They suck and they're gonna be terrible forever. No, I mean they're 27 to 29. They're 7.5 back of the AL East, 2.5 back of the wild card spot. Still in contention for a wild card spot, but just a battery of injuries. And then on top of that, you just add the fact that they're just so inconsistent on all three phases. Like you look at the game from Milwaukee yesterday. Garrett Crochet fucking struck out 11 people and went like 6 innings, 7 innings, and the game was 2-1. They lose. You, but then another day they go out and they score, I don't know, 19 runs in a game. I mean, there's they're so consistently inconsistent that it's just like you don't know what you're going to get from them on a nightly basis. So that's why I would rather. I love bringing Marcelo Meyer up. I want Roman Anthony up. If we're going to make mistakes, let's make mistakes when these guys are up and let's let them grow and let's let have them make the mistakes. Um, I mean, you guys, let's start at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
go ahead, go
uh,
ahead.
I'm just this team seems to take a very individualistic approach. Um, it's really not a team that plays together.
Offensively, I agree 100% because
Yeah, they kind of just like are all focused on their own stats, and
they're like swinging for
I
the
think.
fences.
Yeah, I think the hitting coaches need to go. I also brought up a question. Do we think it's time to let Cora go? He's been a great manager in the past, but this team has really struggled under his watch lately, and he is a team for like a player first coach. But I think he picks his favorites as well, and when you start doing that, it starts to make people not want to act as a team, but play for themselves more. And that's it. I think that's exactly what we're seeing with this team is they just they don't care. Like they just don't care about the win. They don't care about winning. They don't care about stringing together good at bats. They just swing for the
That,
fences and strike out. Like it's very frustrating to watch.
that's for me the biggest thing is they're swinging. It's the three things when you're batting. You strike out, you pop out, or you hit a homer. And that's what they're doing. And I want them to pass the baton. When you start passing the baton, that's when, you know, someone gets a hit, then someone else gets a hit. That's when you get the pitcher thinking, okay, oh shit, now I got people on. Now he's gonna make a mistake, and now you capitalize on that mistake. Like you said, to see Rafaela go up there, I wish I could bet like for what is Rafaela gonna do first pitch because I you can already tell what he's gonna do. So I'm just gonna throw a fucking slider in the dirt and he's gonna swing at it. And now he's down 0-1. And when you have a guy on second and you're down by 1 run and there's one out and you got this guy swinging for the fences first pitch as a 9-hole guy when you got Jaron Duran waiting on deck. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Move the runner over and let someone that can actually make contact with the ball make contact. I mean, I love the defense that the guy has. Don't get me wrong, it's Jackie Bradley-esque, but I mean, enough of Rafaela, man. I'm sorry. At this point, I don't want his numbers. I'd rather have Roman Anthony out there struggling because he's going to give you a better at bat.
I just kind of feel like we all got suckered into the hype machine that this team is gonna be good and ownership did all of these great things. And we're all fucking suckers.
So
You want to, we are. No, we are. We
no,
are.
no,
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 no.
no,
The Fenway Five should have happened, and we
no,
got no, 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 no.
no.
Let me cook here. Let me cook here. I have a take on this. I feel like we got suckered hard. And I think we all looked at everything that they did and were like, well, this is different and this is why. And you want to know what? This team is one of the most hateable teams in the city right now. I mean, like, I think the Bruins are pretty hateable too, but I feel like this team is right up there with them. They just kind of like
It's
they seem selfish, like Gabe said. And the ringleader of the selfish brigade is Mr. Raphael Devers. And the funny thing is, if you had told this to me like 3 years ago, I'd been like, "You're crazy. That dude just seems like he wants to have a good time and just did mash homers." Now he's just like
that's what
demanding
he's
things.
doing though.
Yeah, but you
He's the
want to know
best
what?
hitter on the team.
But Sam, I think the
Most
problem is
RBIs, most home runs. He leads the MLB in RBI right now. He made a valid point, and he's being stubborn as fuck, and he's not being a team player. And I agree, he's not being a team player, but he's being stubborn as fuck. But at the same time, he's shoving it up ownership's ass by being one of the best hitters in major leagues right now.
Right, work up
But
his
but
trade
it doesn't
value and
help us
get
out.
and get him the fuck out of here because at this point, like I want off the ride, and I'll tell you why. You're getting paid $300 million plus, and you are the highest paid player on the team. And for the betterment of the team, they're asking you to pick up a glove and go play third or first. And yeah, I know you were a whiny little bitch about playing third, and that's my position earlier, not wanting Bregman to come in and take it.
It's his
And
position.
and you were also like lackadaisical, didn't show up to spring training in shape, and you started the season slow. So yeah, I have some issues with you. And now we ask you to go do these things and you won't do them. It's like, dude, GTFO, get the hell out of here. I'm just like, I'm so done with you. So yeah, I pretty much think that
But
Rafael Devers is the ringleader of the hate brigade right now.
But you also have to take into consideration, and I don't want to blame injuries because injuries, I mean, every team goes through injuries, but when your 3 and 4 hitter go down, and especially a right-left combo like Casas and Bregman, and then Bregman especially being, the vocal leader, um, I just, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to make that up. And so I mean that's really kind of where I go. The injury bug kind of sucks. It's we are where we are. Rob Refsnyder said it the other day, and you know we're 1/3 of the way into the season. We'll see what the rest of the season has to bring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but like I went to a Sox game with J-Matt like a week and a half ago, and like it just like I do think, and I don't want to seem like a Debbie Downer here because I do think some new things that they've done, like when someone hits a home run and the lights kind of flash, like that's kind of cool. Like I think that that's cool, but like there's just so many pink hats and some of the stuff that they do, like it just like it drives me nuts because it's just not the same experience that I remember when like. I was young growing up, or not even young growing up, but even like 10 years ago going to games and enjoying it. So it's so commercialized and it feels like what every other ballpark is and not what it used to be. And I can't speak to what it's like at Wrigley. I know Plotty just went there, but he was talking a little bit about how like it kind of had that Fenway feel and like I don't want to speak out of his mouth, but it kind of seemed like it reminded him more of like old school Fenway. Um, so I just think there are certain things that, and that to me stems with ownership, and I think this thing all stems with ownership, which is why I was saying I think we got suckered in. Is I think we were sold a bill of goods that it's not even close to what it was being sold as. So that's where I feel like I'm saying we got suckered in because I just don't feel like this team is even close to putting the output out what we thought that they were going to do, which is upsetting.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're not, and unfortunately, they're in the position where they're at, and they have some room to make up. Thankfully, they haven't played the Yankees yet, and maybe they can erase some of those games. But let's kind of touch on the
Do you want to go?
Patriots
Do
a
you want to
little
go
bit.
Patriots?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think there really hasn't been a lot that's kind of developed in the last couple weeks. There was, I think, like the OTAs are taking place right now, so that is going on. Um, Besides that, they've had some cameras there. Drake May threw 4 picks in the first day, so there's been a lot of talk about him struggling with new
He's got the hitch
offense
back. He's got the
and
hitch.
and all that stuff. And like, you know, honestly, it's like it's the beginning of train OTAs with all these new parts, new coach, new offensive coordinator. If he's still looking like this in training camp, then I'll feel concerned. But right now, I'm gonna chalk that up as like the first day that they were actually in like, you know, running any plays, and I have no concerns right now.
I
Now,
don't
I
know
think
about
the
you
big,
guys, but I love the fact that Vrabel and McDaniels told what's his name, Drake May to cut the shit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that.
it's
That
a
that
different
just that
regime.
tells me that this team's, knock on wood, back,
Well,
or at least inside the locker room, that is back.
good segue, Sam, because I think talking about back, one of the big things that did happen while we had our last episode is there was a schedule release. So
Dun, dun, dun,
I don't
dun.
think we're gonna go through week by week, but I think like the consensus right now is it's a pretty soft schedule, and
Yeah.
the Patriots have a pretty good chance here to make a pretty significant leap from the 4 wins from last year. So after going through and looking a little bit at the schedule, what do you guys think that they're going to end up with as far as wins and losses?
Yeah, I kind of went through each game and gave myself wins and losses per game here. I think it's not unreasonable to think this team could get 10 wins this season. I think the hype train on the Patriots this year is a little heavy. They were a very poor team last year. I know a lot has changed since then, but um, I mean, they have their first out of their first 4 games, 3 of them are at home. I think they lose at Miami in week 2 just because
I agree.
that's how the Patriots always are. But the other 3 games at home are completely winnable games.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh, who's their quarterback, like Carolina Panthers, Las Vegas, like they're all kind
Las
of like
Vegas, yep.
in the same boat as the Patriots right now. So I could see them going at least 2-2 in that stretch. So I mean I have them at like 9 to 10 wins. There's a few games like Tampa Bay. I think they'll lose to Tampa Bay, and we'll see how they fare against the Bills. And they're definitely, against the Ravens. I have them chalked in as a loss. So I could see like a 10-7
10
team
and
or
7.
a 9-8 team. I'm not sure what the line is in Vegas for over under
I think
wins.
it's 8.5 right now, and I take the over. I'm with you, Gabe. I think it's going to be 9. I think
Yeah.
it's 9 wins.
I
I think the
agree.
Patriots are going to start out. I think they're going to be like 6-2, and then I think they're going to have a really tough back half, just based on
Yeah.
what I've seen on the schedule. But they could also surprise us and they could end up with like 11 or 12 and really do more work in that second back half than I think, we all think that they might end up doing. But I certainly can't see them winning less than 8 games. I think 8 games is the low bar, and I
Yeah.
think we're probably going to end up higher than that. So, Sam, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, just, looking at the schedule, I mean, obviously at Cincinnati, at Baltimore, you kind of chalk those up as losses. Buffalo is going to be hard too. You'd be lucky if you can get a split out of there. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, I agree with you guys. 8, 9 to 10 wins, right around there, right, somewhere in that sweet spot. I would like to see them get better towards the end of the year. Like you said, it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to do that just because of the schedule and who they're playing. But again, that might be a good thing because they're playing such great talent. That actually might help them out. So I do see them as an 8 to 10 win team, and hopefully they make strides forward and they can kind of keep this train rolling and turn this into something.
Little test I have for them throughout the year is just split with Buffalo. If you can split with Buffalo, you're showing me
Yeah.
enough that you're
Yeah.
ready to take the leap maybe after this next year with getting some more talent infused on the team. But
I don't know
yeah,
about you guys, but there's not a lot of games that really excite me on this schedule. I
Just
mean, I'm
those
looking, I
three or
mean,
four.
obviously, like division games are fun against the Bills, and I would love to see the Cleveland Browns and the shitstorm that that we're gonna see there. Um, but I mean, like, there's nothing that like really grabs my attention. I feel like
I think
Cincinnati,
it's I think it's
Baltimore.
Cincinnati,
it's it's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Baltimore,
it's because it's a soft schedule because
yeah,
like it's not like they're not playing like the NFC North like they were last year or like these loaded divisions. So
yeah,
the AFC East is certainly not a loaded division. Miami is, I would say, a team that's on the decline a little bit. I wouldn't say they're ascending anymore. The Jets are still the Jets, and Buffalo is the cream of the crop in the AFC with them and the Chiefs. So I still think like and the AFC North. I'm not taking anything away from it because I think Baltimore is a great team. I think most of the teams in that division are really good except for Cleveland, even Pittsburgh. With everything going on and Aaron Rodgers eventually going there because we all know he's going there. It's like the biggest open secret in the league.
yeah.
Those are three tough games, but outside of them, the other opponents and the NFC South is just trash. Like they're probably the weakest division in football. So the Saints are laughable. They don't even have a quarterback. Tampa is only a legit team, and then Atlanta, who knows with Penix and
Yeah.
Carolina, again, who knows. So let's talk a little Bruins, and then yeah, let's close on out.
All right, so we'll segue over to the Bruins. Who's in the penalty box this week, Gabe?
I don't know if I don't know if we have anybody in the penalty box per se this week. Uh there are some Bruins Nuggets, I guess we could say. The Brad Marchand trade becomes fruitful for the Bruins. Makes you feel a little bit better about trading Marchand now that the
I've been watching it.
I know it's like I've
That
been
says
like
something.
cheering for the
Yeah.
Panthers all the way just so this second rounder turned into a first rounder. And it's actually a great trade for the Panthers as well. It adds another rat to that team, and they're looking great. They're up 3-1 against Carolina and looking to go back to the Stanley Cup final. So good for the Panthers in adding Brad Marchand at the trade deadline, and good for the Bruins in understanding that he would be healthy enough to help the team and kind of push them past that second round. So I think all in all that worked out for both teams, and it's still a chance that Brad Marchand could sign with the Bruins in the offseason. And another rat that's available is Sam Bennett. So you could add two rats to the Bruins in the offseason and we might be cooking again. So who knows? Another little nugget, Swayman. Jeremy Swayman was it playing in the IIHF World Championships. He won gold I mean, Team USA won gold. It was the first time, I believe, in over 90 years that they had won gold in that tournament. He posted a 7-0-0 record, 1.69 goals against average, .921 save percentage and two shutouts, including, I believe, the championship game. I think he had a shutout. Now, the World Championships, it's not all, there is NHL talent on the ice, but there's also not NHL talent on the ice.
Gabe,
So I think it's just nice to see Swayman kind of get back into the groove, and hopefully that kind of translates into the next year as well.
Gabe, wouldn't you say that that's kind of the stats that we were hoping to see from Swayman in May this year? It's just,
Absolutely,
it's just not happening for the Bruins.
especially with that
Yeah.
contract. Yeah, I think
Ugh.
Swayman was quoted as saying like he kind of felt like a new man. Like he kind of it almost seemed like he took a little bit of a jab at the locker room malcontent over the
Mhm.
season with the Bruins, and kind of was like talking up how great the locker room was for the World Championships. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. He likes to talk a lot. I think he rubbed a lot of players the wrong way in the Bruins locker room last season, and I think that played a big role in his down season.
Devil's advocate on that. Do you think that like the shakeup with all the people, all the players that like left the locker room throughout the season also played a part into like some of the things that he's talking about? Because like I think like when we're hearing him talk about like, how great the locker room is for the world championships and all that stuff, I think that's maybe a wrinkle that maybe isn't being talked about is like, yeah, if you're in a locker room and not all, but a lot of your best players have been traded away for basically parts and picks. Like, how can you feel like that's an upbeat, fun place to want to be?
Yeah, for sure. I just think I honestly just think from the beginning, the contract talks really rubbed, especially Brad Marchand the wrong way as he was the captain at the time of the team. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully this does kickstart him in the right direction and he kind of continues on this path of becoming the player we know he can be. Um, but it would be nice if the Bruins could pick a coach. There's still no still no coaching
Are
decision.
they're down at
Um,
two, right?
so there's rumors that they've kind of narrowed it down to like three people. Marco
Who are those three
Sturm.
people?
Yeah, we got Marco Sturm being one of them. Jay Woodcroft, who I had to look up. He coached the Edmonton Oilers for a little bit and got fired from that gig. And then this guy, Mitch Love, who I guess I was reading a little bit about him. He's a very blue collar style of hockey player when he was in the league. He is a tough physical guy, kind of has Bruins written all over it. And, I think the Bruins need some love right now. So maybe Mitch Love is the move.
What you're gonna
Personally,
do is you're gonna get your 2x4 and you're gonna hit him right upside the head.
yeah,
Get
bring back
that
that
puck,
big
boy.
bad Bruins back, but I don't know. I still think in my opinion, I think Misha Donskov is the guy that I would target this year. Um, I mean, solely for the purpose of the Misha, but
Misha, Misha, get me out of here.
so
But
it's
I
really
think
it's
I
a
think the
toss
other
up right now.
But I think the thing about Misha that I'm with you on is like the fact that like wherever he's gone for the past decade, those teams have been winners, right? And like, yeah, not all of them won the Stanley Cup, and like it's tough to win the Stanley Cup in hockey. I think it's the toughest sport to win a championship in just because it's so grueling and all that stuff. But his teams are consistently there and in the end, and they constantly make the playoffs. And I think right now, like just for the Bruins, like let's get back to the playoffs. I think we all want a championship level contender, but we're not going to get there overnight. Let's take the right first step about getting back and being competitive. And then if this is a guy that can help get us there next year, then I'm all for bringing him on board, especially if he can then take us to the next level thereafter.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the media just blows smoke up our ass and gives these names. Oh, the Bruins are closing in on these three candidates and two that I've like never even heard of before. And it's like at the end of the day, they're probably gonna sign like Jay Leach or like I don't know. Marco Sturm seems like a kind of like I don't know. It just seems like they're gonna sign him, and
Seems
that's gonna
so
be that.
Bruins. It just seems
Yeah,
Bruins.
it
It
seems very
smells.
Bruins.
It's just got Bruins smell all over it.
It does. It does. And who knows? Maybe he's an underrated, maybe he has underrated value for this team and just playing
I'm not
here and he
knocking
kind of
it.
knows. Yeah.
We're never.
No,
I
it's
don't
just
think.
a
I want to get that clear. We're all not knocking it. We're just saying like
no.
that just feels very Bruins.
Very Bruins. Same with like Jay Leach sounds like it feels very Bruins as well. So I don't know. Keep an eye out. It looks like going back to the playoffs, it looks like it's going to be a rematch of last year, Edmonton versus Florida. I think that would be great for the NHL. And me personally, I think Edmonton kind of gets over the hump this year and wins the Stanley Cup. But
It's a
still,
huge story for Canada if that happens. Like, I think it
yeah.
ends the drought. It's been well over 20 years since a Canadian team has won the cup. So, because I think Montreal hasn't won. Have they won this in the 2000s?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so like it would be a huge deal for Canada to have a Canadian team win. So I mean, I think just the fact it's looking like a rematch to the Stanley Cup Finals from last year. This is where again I think you got to give a little bit of the edge to the NHL versus the NBA in terms of the playoffs. You have a rematch that I feel like you haven't had in basketball in a while, just because the teams are so ever changing. And that's not a knock on the NBA. It's just I think this is a little bit of the consistency in the NHL and the fact that these two teams were able to do this 2 years in a row, and again, the most grueling playoffs in all of sports, just a testament A to those two teams. And yeah, it would be cool to see Edmonton come out on top. I'm rooting for Marshy for him to win a championship, but I think it's also never a bad thing to have the best player in hockey win the championship. And, you know, Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. And as much as it hurts to be on the losing side of that and, the Four Nations, at least it was him who buried it versus someone else.
And we can't forget about Trent Frederick either.
Yeah.
He got moved to Edmonton this offseason to add some toughness to this team, probably because they knew they were going to be facing the Florida Panthers again in the Stanley Cup play in the finals. Frederick adds an edge to a team that's very skilled, but maybe not the most physical. And now you got a guy who's willing to stand up for his teammates, take the gloves off, and that kind of changes the whole, just how the game is viewed when you look at Edmonton and Florida.
I want the instigation against Frederick and Marchand because I think if,
Yeah.
As a Bruins fan, like that could be nothing could be more entertaining than being like, hey, you guys were good teammates, close teammates, and you guys are like the instigators. Like now you guys are going up against each other. Let's see you guys kind of mix it up. It would be fun,
It would
Absolutely.
be.
Yeah.
You want to know what would really be fun? Your favorite segment, Big
guys.
E.
It's my favorite
What time is
segment.
it?
It is my favorite time of the week, and it's the time where we get to talk about the things that we don't like, the things that we hate, the things that are like, yeah, oh, like get out of here. F you. Get out. And then there are the things that we love, the things that are fantastic, stupendous, wondrous, the things that make me want to get up out of my seat and go, "Oh yeah!" Who wants to kick us off with a yeah, oh, or an oh yeah this week?
I'll start with a yeah. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I love the new City Connect jerseys. Having them green
A yeah,
monster
oh, or an oh
themed.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic sometimes when it comes to that.
That's okay.
That's an oh yeah for me. I mean the uniqueness to them, the print on them. Uh, they did like a little bit of like a behind the scenes look on like actually like what the meanings of the uniforms were, like the numbers on the front where they're yellow are like active, when an innings going on, how many runs are being scored, and it goes down to the little details of the little dots of strikes and balls they have imprinted on there. So I mean, I fucking love them. I think they're absolutely fucking great. That green goes well in Fenway. It looks nice. And again, I'm a Jersey guy, so the more jerseys, the better. We get the sweet UCLA Bruins blue and
Boston
yellow
Strong.
and yeah, Boston Strong jerseys, and now we have these green monster ones, and I just love them personally.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Green Monster ones. I don't dislike these ones. I just, for me, if it didn't have anything to do with the marathon, I don't think they would ever have those colors. So that's the only reason that I kind of like, I don't dislike them. I just kind of think that they're a little bit out of place. But obviously, I understand why and the connection to the city and everything that kind of happened with all that. But I think like these would be a better like third jersey than those would, in my opinion. And candidly, like, and I was talking with Gabe and Josh about this. I think I kind of miss the Reds. Like, where I feel like we haven't
Friday Night
seen
Reds.
the Friday Night Reds in a while, and like I just like I don't maybe I'm just traditionalist. I just like three colors. Like three colors for me is
Four.
fine. So or no, they just have too
The
many
Friday
jerseys.
aways, Friday homes, and
Yeah, just
then
like
regular aways,
I'm a
regular homes.
traditionalist. Like when it comes to the Celtics, give me the green and the whites. Like I don't care about
Yeah.
anything else, And with the Patriots, I do like the throwbacks with the Patriots, the Reds. But like honestly, like the whites, the whites and the navy blue are great, are good enough for me too.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm as much as of a fan of the new City Connect jerseys. I do like the concept. I like the Green Monster playoff. I think the colors really, like Sam said, it works well in the stadium. I think the font maybe on the front throws it off a little bit for me. I think they could have done a little bit better with that concept, but overall, I mean, it's pretty cool and it's always nice to add some alternative jerseys into the mix, but I'm also a simple man and like the whites and grays and occasional reds or whatever they want to play. So, what the Patriots jerseys right now they make me want
Gag.
to puke. They're
Well,
so bad.
I wish
The
they went
color
back to the
rush.
90s. Go back to the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen some really cool 90s concepts out there that I think the Patriots should seriously look into. I mean, it's just such a generic jersey. It's like something you can make on Madden, and it's just like I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they could do a lot better, and
Hey, I want
it
to
would
one up
sell a
that's
lot
that.
more.
perfectly well put.
I
Something
want to
you
one
make
up
on
that too.
Madden.
Yeah,
I think that it's not only something that they should do for the Patriots, but I think the Revolution should adopt the same color scheme that the Patriots should adopt. And you wonder if you're the Crafts, why wouldn't you do it? It's a cash grab opportunity, and the fans will be happy. Like we all want the old school jerseys to come back. Sell them, and make a boatload of money and make everyone happy. Everyone's happy in that scenario.
damn straight.
Retro
Uh,
jerseys,
I'll
baby.
I'll move this along here, and I got another. Oh yeah. URI baseball, the URI Rams baseball team, won the A10 championship this year, and they are on the road to Omaha,
Where
the
are they on the road
College
to,
World
Gabe?
Series.
They're on the
On the
road
road
to
to Omaha, Omaha.
Omaha.
Oh my God. They are in
Omaha.
the Baton Rouge regional tournament. That includes LSU, Little Rock, and Dallas Baptist. Um, URI plays Dallas Baptist this Friday, as does LSU plays Little Rock on Friday. And then if URI can beat Dallas Baptist, they'll play the winner of LSU and Little Rock. So, I mean, this doesn't happen often for URI in any sport. So we always like to take advantage of these moments and cheer on our team. I know, obviously, Eric, you went to UMass, so this means
Hey,
nothing to you.
I gotta root on for the A10 team. Like, we gotta stick together. We gotta band together for the New England states.
I think it would
And
be
I
really
mean,
cool.
just to see URI go up a powerhouse juggernaut team like LSU is just, I mean, that would be kind of
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
Just the thought
they're,
of like URI versus LSU,
Can you
like
imagine if
yeah,
that's
they
that's
fucking
crazy.
wild.
if they take down LSU and they go all the way? Let's go. Like I'm rooting
I
for
mean,
Let's
fucking
go.
dude,
URI.
that's the crazy thing, and that I love
It
about
can
baseball
happen.
is
It can
anything can
happen.
happen.
Let's go URI. Let's go
Let's
Rams.
go. And
Wow, we'll have to clip that because that's gonna be, that's gonna be a
yeah.
first right there.
Hey,
uh
I can root for the Rams.
yeah,
I
A10 all the
kid, I
way.
kid.
Another kind of keeping on the college trend here, another oh yeah to the college lacrosse championships that occurred at Gillette Stadium this past weekend. The men's winner ends up being the number one seed Colgate, and the women's winner ends up being the number one UNC. Uh,
Bill
you
Belichick must
know,
have been happy with that. Must have been very happy. He's a big lacrosse
must
fan.
oh yeah.
Nothing else to report about him.
Chapel Bill.
Except for
Um,
Jordan.
Who?
That came out of that tournament. The Boston College women's had an epic collapse in the semifinals against Northwestern. I believe they were up 11-6 going into the fourth and ended up not scoring in the fourth and lost 12 to 11. Kind of like the hometown team in Gillette. There were a ton of Boston College fans rooting them on, and it was pretty sad to see how their season ended. You could tell the players were totally distraught and couldn't believe it. But always next year for BC, and we'll see. But I do love that Gillette has kind of taken over that tournament, at least for the like semifinals and finals. I think it's a testament to how much lacrosse is loved in New England, and there's always a lot of good teams in this area too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great tournament that happens every year, and uh, very very just like very very happy that it continues to happen there year after year. So, and next year, speaking of Gillette, we'll have the World Cup. So, just a
Oh
little
my God.
appetizer for the big main event we got coming up in 2026. I got our final
Beef
final.
review.
I think I got it. Yeah, right. I got our final. Oh yeah. Your boy here, who has been staying off the beefs for a little while, finally got himself a beef this weekend, and Gabe was there to witness as well as J Matt. But we went to Nick's place in Winthrop, and I think we all kind of were like, "Hey, we're not sure about this place. It's going to be kind of like a gamble." And holy shit, did we gamble right? Like I got Josh and I both got three ways, and they were delectable, extremely delicious. And not only that, Gabe, you got a calzone, a buffalo chicken calzone that just looked absolutely amazing, and you can attest was really good, right?
Very good. And it lasted me like 3 days. That thing was massive.
It was so good that J Man and I looked at each other and said, "Should we split a junior, which is the smallest they offer?" And so that's what we did. So we did that the next day, and yeah, like a huge, huge oh yeah to Nick's place in Winthrop. Like,
Yeah.
could not have been a better experience for us, especially for me not beefing in like the last 6 months to get a beef, and then calzone that it wasn't Andover Deli, but it was really good.
Yeah.
How much sauce did you get on your beard?
I had a pretty good amount. You don't put it down. You don't put it down until you're done.
You had
So
like a little mayo mustache. Yeah.
yeah, you wash up afterwards. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
during the meal. You know.
And as JMad said, you got to leave the cap of the soda undone so you don't have to
Yes.
keep touching your soda.
Yeah, well, that's where you get napkin hands. So you can have just like napkins glued to your hand with all the sauce and the mayo, so you can
Yeah.
go touch your drink, and then later on when you've cleaned up and you're no longer an animal, you can then use your drink still.
Well, the
By the
other
way,
thing
these
is too.
beefs are about, I don't know,
Yeah.
probably about yay thick.
Yeah. It was insane. It was just a ball of beef. Yeah. I mean, we were thinking about driving out to Pete's in was it
Woburn, Woburn,
Woburn,
Woburn. Yeah,
Woburn.
which was like a
24
25
minutes.
plus ride. So I think you guys were like so happy that we didn't take that trip because Nick's was more than serviceable for you guys.
Oh yeah, Josh just kept going serviceable. This is serviceable. This is more than serviceable. Like,
Yeah.
and Gabe, you were like, I felt bad. Like the beefs came out pretty quickly and the calzone took some time. So Gabe just sat there and watched us eat. And
I
Gabe,
almost got one.
yeah, and like
I almost got
You
one.
didn't wait for
The
we
calzone took
tried.
you gotta
forever.
No,
wait.
we waited. We waited for a little bit, and Gabe was like, just go. He was like,
Yeah.
he was like, I don't want to keep you guys from beefing. So we ended up beefing, and it
From
was uh, it
beef.
was glorious.
Gotta eat it hot.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So again, shout out Nick's Place, Winthrop. Definitely we'll be back.
Beefs are always good. Beefs are
And
always good.
guys,
Boys,
I think just coming down the pike, let's talk a little bit of what's down the road. For the Bruins, just hiring a head coach. That's something that should be happening soon. For
Yep.
uh for the Celtics. No major decisions coming down anytime soon, but they're exploring their trade options. We got the draft that's going to be coming up in about a month's time. So there's a lot that's going to be going on behind the scenes in the next 30 days, but nothing concrete that we'll probably hear till about draft night, if then, and probably stuff that's going to take place afterwards. For the Patriots. OTAs are going to be wrapping up here shortly, and they're going to be doing, maybe mandatory mini camps and stuff like that later on, and then Training camp's going to open up in July, so nothing huge going on there. And then, Sammy,
And then
what's
we
going
have
on for the
our
Sox?
valiant Red Sox. So we'll get one more with the Brewers tomorrow. We'll have three with the Braves and then three with the Angels. So uh,
Woo! We
let's
love the
let's
woo
what was the
woo woo
longest homestand of
woo.
the year? We went 5-5. Let's see if we can make some traction here.
They suck and they blow people.
Yeah, and the Braves
All
are
right,
no joke
boys.
now with Ronald Acuna coming back. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see how
scary
that
lineup.
series goes.
All right,
Exactly,
boys.
boys.
We'll be
All
back
right,
next week with a
Neafa.
full
In the words
complement.
of the great Plotkin, Neafa, wherever you are, everyone, have a good night. Adios.
Peace.
Adios.